So I want to say hello to everyone. We have people joining us in our calls now from all different parts of the world. So it may be morning for some, or afternoon for others, or evening, or in the way middle of the night for some. And for all of those that are gathered around this sacred fire with our Mother Earth delegation, I send you a big warm welcome. I know that we're living in unprecedented times. And so these calls for us are our way of being able to offer to you some of the direction the Mother Earth is giving us right now so we can stay informed about how to walk through these times. So I'm just going to enter into my own prayer and touch on some of the things that are going on our planet right now. So if you join me in prayer, then our prayer will be unified and strong. I give great thanks to the Mother, Father, God, to the spirits of the four directions, those above me and us and those below us, and those that work through us. I give great thanks. I give great thanks to the ancestors' hand who is on each and every shoulder of everyone gathered here, protecting and guiding and lighting our way. I give great thanks to the territory that I sit on, of the Pomo and the coastal Miwok peoples, and to all the territories that reach across this great Mother Earth, for they connect her and connect us in a sense of unity and unified prayer, for that is what is called for now. I give great thanks for the morning star that announced a new day was coming, and for the sun that brought that day so we could stand up inside of it, take a deep breath, and put our skin on to walk here in our full presence and our full authenticity. I know, Creator, that you are stirring so much, for we are in the ending times and a lot is falling down around us. Old systems are falling down, old governments, old social systems, old economic systems, things that no longer are going to be a part of the new dawn that's arrived. So help us stay strong in ourselves, quiet in our hearts, still in our minds, and unified in our purpose. The Mother Earth is shaking us awake. She's moving herself so that all of that which is ending can find its way to lay down, and that which is breaking through can light itself brightly and show us the way. Help us stay focused on that which is breaking through. She's brought earthquakes to Japan and ice storms across countries and swelling of waters. She's moving and shaking things all over this planet so that we will awaken to this moment of choice. And it is truly a moment of choice, Creator. We knew this time would be here when we chose to come here, to put our skin on and to walk in a humble way, listening to the prophecies that would prepare us for this moment, and those prophecies that are directing us in this moment. For that, I give great thanks. For you are in a cycle that's an ending cycle. 26,000 years have passed before or since you came to that place, this cycle once again. So you know the way things move. As you move yourself into your ascension to carry us into the fifth dimension, a higher dimension of understanding and perception that will help us light ourselves more completely as human beings. For many my elders taught me, Creator, as I walk this path, that we've been living in those lower chakras, those places that taught us about survival as a human race. But we have never before reached into our hearts and started our ascension as human beings. And so we are now taking that great leap. And for that understanding, I give great thanks. For you are waking us to an understanding of how interconnected we are with each other, that everything we do has an import upon others across the planet and across the cosmos. We get to watch the dance of the cosmos with this Mother Earth, for it is her family that is rejoicing in this moment of ascension, and for that we can all celebrate. I know, Creator, that it gets hard. We get distracted with all that's falling down, for it shakes the very place we've stood for so long in our understanding. But there is something blossoming in it. In the chaos, the creativity is pushing itself through and birthing new understanding inside of us all. Help us stay true to that understanding. Help us not be distracted by that which is falling down, but focused on that which is breaking through. And you have brought many people and organizations and individuals and movements that are based on the original principles of collaboration and reciprocity and heart and unity, and all life is sacred. We are remembering ourselves. So help us be patient with ourselves, Creator, as we do that remembering, as we remember, as we put ourselves back together into the wholeness that we are, and return to a garden that is full of possibility and flourishes with diversity. Help us embrace that diversity for the gift that it is. Help us let go of old stories, for we have history. Every single one of us walks with a history. Sometimes that history was hard and challenging, and we forgot ourselves. We disconnected from this Mother Earth, and we got lost for a while, but we are at the end of that detour, and it brought teachings also. So help us gather and harvest the good teachings and bring ourselves back to that original point of understanding where we all were birthed from, the source of it all. And that source, I know, Creator, flows constantly from our hearts with an intelligence that can guide our feet in more gentle ways and spread kindness instead of hate and peace instead of anger. It inspires. It guides, and through that it brings us good protection. Help us remember the Mother that birthed us all, for she is calling us into action. She is asking us to mature ourselves and to stand fully in our spiritual beings and realign with her and her purpose. Let us have that kind of intelligence direct our every breath. Help us remember, Creator, that we all share a breath of life every day when we awake. For we are a whole system, a whole family, a whole community, and a whole way of life restoring and regenerating itself, even as I speak these words. So I give thanks to you, Creator, for this day. I give thanks for the awakening, and I give thanks that you have your arms wrapped around us and your tears of blessing are flowing upon us, watering the seeds of possibility that each and every one of us carry. For it is those seeds blooming into possibility that will bring an aroma of compassion that can flow around this planet and calm us through these times. I give great thanks for all of the Mother Earth delegation of United Original Nations. For they took on something that you asked them to do, and they're standing firm in it. And those that have gathered here on this call with us today are bringing messages so that we can learn more with every step we take, and we can be solid in those steps and firmed in our hearts and guided by your inspiration. For this and all things, I give great thanks. I give great thanks. I give great thanks. So some of the questions that I've been hearing as we started to enter into our work together today, questions that were coming about, is there some way I can have a daily practice that will help me stay firm in myself so that I can listen more deeply to that instruction that is coming and not be distracted by the stories that are flying and the emotions that have been unleashed as this healing and cleansing takes place. For as the Kogi told us, the ending is falling into the beginning, and the beginning will roll out in 2026. They gave us this prophecy in 2013, so we entered a time of cleansing for 13 years, and now it's 2021. So we have to be firm in this cleansing process as she purifies us and moves things out of us that we no longer need to walk with, and moves us more closely to our own authenticity. She said, pay attention to that which is falling down so you stay informed, but stay close and focused to that which is breaking through. And so that's how we enter our prayer circle today. And I get to introduce now my sister, grandmother, Loretta Afreda Cook, Oglala Sioux, who lives here in Turtle Island. Grandmother Loretta?
I want to greet each and every one of you today. We're in the midst of a very bitter cold time, bitter cold cycle, which is right. And so I would like to encourage each and every one of you that in these days that are in front of us, we're but a few days away from spring equinox. So we have to, again, bring ourselves to bear so that we can reach that place. Myself, my grandmothers, my grandfathers always said, if you can do it every day, put a little water out on the ground, put some food on the ground, and remember your loved ones that have gone on already. And remember that they see Creator's face today, and they have the blessings that they reap and send down to us. In the pathway that we open up each time that we put water in sacred food, if you can. My people have 4 foods that we use for the seasons. The water is for the winter, the corn is for the spring, the choke cherries are berries that we use are for the summer, and we use buffalo meat for the fall. This is the time that these things are harvested, and we're coming back into that time. We're going to put those seeds down, they're already starting to grow. So we look to the future and we buoy ourselves up by sharing from our tables. Before we even drink water, we'll pour some on the ground. Not a whole lot, just little bits here and there. And that's going to carry you through the day. You're sharing the spirit of what you have with every nation in the world, because these are things we're doing for you as we remember them. So every day, as the sun is coming out, I stand there and reach toward the sun and I thank it for letting me awaken one more time, one more day, and that I could enjoy this life. And then the evening, when it's getting dark, again, I say thank you for a wonderful day. Try to be in balance between that and try to have good thoughts, positive thoughts. It's hard to do in these times that we're in because we're in our homes. But this is how we've always lived. We never go running to town to be buying things. We don't just wander out of our areas to do things that are not we don't need. So right now we're being taught how to be with ourselves again, how to feel good in our homes, how to love our children, how to do all these things. I recently attended a workshop and I learned something. They said there was a scientific study that was done on some little animals, and these animals, they would say those would be the grandfather animals. They allowed them to smell orange blossom, and then they zapped them with electricity, and they ran to the corner. And so they watched, and when these little animals bore their children, they took these little children and they let them smell that orange blossom, and they got frightened and they ran to the corner. They didn't get zapped. They had their children, the next generation. Again, they took them and they had them smell the orange blossom. And these little children got frightened and they ran to the corner. So, based on that science, it tells us that what we carry is deeply grounded in our DNA. The genome, the part that we are, the wholeness that we are, we carry from the past and we build new memories to the future. Using for all of these things, all of our lives, we do them in a positive way. So I want to say that much to you and think about that. We carry for generation after generation. If we carry happiness in us, our children and our grandchildren and their children and so on to 7 generations will carry that. It is up to us. You all heard my sister Jyoti's beautiful prayer. So I want to, at this time, I'm just going to offer just a short prayer, a most important prayer for us. And I'm going to share it with you, and I ask you to pass it on. So I touch your faces. During this pandemic, they tell us not to touch our face, but for us, it's a gesture of love and faith and courage and hopefulness. So I'll touch your face. I ask you to think with me, and let's all do this with one mind for the betterment of everything in our world so that Earth Mother lets us have our way back again. So with that, I want to tell all of you out there that I'm happy that you're here with us, that we can spend this time with you. I look forward to this time. And I know you're there. I feel you through these waves. So I'm going to say the central prayer to my people as I hold your face. Ho mitakuye oyasi, all my relations. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Grandmother Loretta. Just want to take a moment and let that prayer of that we are all relations just really seep deeply into us, so we can remember ourselves and the connection we have with not only the human beings walking around here with 2 legs, but all the rest of this creation as well. And that brings us to Grandmother Flordemayo, who's Mayan, living here on this turtle island. Grandmother Flordemayo.
Thank you. Thank you, beloved Creator. Thank you, beloved Beauty. Thank you for this sacred day today, It is the day of Akabal, beloved Creator, in which you have called us to come together into this circle of sharing. This particular circle, beloved Creator, we are uniting without each and every one of us throughout the globe. The beauty of this day, beloved Creator, is that the word Akabal means the first light of the dawn. Beloved Creator, as you have brought us at this very, very moment for us to feel and to be that light, that beautiful, beautiful light, that sparkling light of the dawn, in which we are in between the deep, deep darkness of the night and the beauty of the tiny, tiny little light of that morning. The mystery of that light, the mystery of every moment of every morning, where we as humans have no idea what that day is going to bring. But on this sacred day, beloved Creator, I'm going to share with everybody that you have given us a dream. And this dream I saw a few weeks ago. And in this dream, we were transported, many, many humans, men and women, to this heavenly place, a beautiful, beautiful place. We were friends. We greeted each other. We were smiling, perhaps thinking, what is this beautiful, beautiful heavenly place that we find ourselves? And in the midst of our greetings, beloved beauty, there before us was a circle of holy beings sitting at an oblong table of light. And these beings are of light. One of the beings stood up, greeted us humans, and said to us, we've brought you here to say thank you. Thank you for all of your prayers, because your prayers at this very, very moment, you have raised the vibration of the human race. And this has allowed the race to move into another dimension. And so we want to thank you. Thank you again for all of your prayers, because your prayers are helping. Beloved beauty, from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you in the way that you acknowledge us and you let us know that what we are doing is the right thing at this particular moment, regardless of the hardship that we are under, the struggle, the fears, the unknown, beloved Creator. Our lives right now is like that dawn. We're in the midst of this darkness, and yet there is a tiny, tiny little light of the dawn. Let it be so, beloved Creator, that each and every one of us that is listening, men and women around the globe, that we look towards that little light, that little dawn, and pray for a better future, beloved Creator, because we have been told by the holy ones that we are on our way. In the name of all that is sacred. Thank you.
Thank you, Grandmother Flordemayo. What a profound message, and one that I needed to hold. And that way we flow now with that kind of inspiration into Grandmother Luisah Teish, Oshun Chief, here to continue this flow of inspiration. Thank you, Grandma.
I want to begin by saying Alafia. And as I say Alafia, it is a prayer asking that you have good health and be at peace with your neighbor. I want to say that I am really, really grateful and encouraged by the prayers of Grandmother Jyoti, Grandmother Loretta Afraid of Bad Cook, and Grandmother Flordemayo, because those prayers flow right into the kinds of messages that I have also been receiving, and that it lets me know, as every time we get together, there is a message that we are doing the right thing. 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 The two things that are coming through today is right now, as we look at the snowstorms and the mudslides and the tidal waves and the volcano eruptions, I'm reminded of a Yoruba tale that says one day her belly burst. You know, one day the belly of the mother exploded because she was so busy looking at her own beauty that she couldn't stand it. And so she exploded. And when she exploded, it separated the waters on the earth. When she exploded, mountains stood up. When she exploded, all kinds of amazing things happened to this planet. And while it may seem like it is disaster now, it is merely her womb exploding, moving energy around so that new things can be born, as all of these grandmothers have said. She is exploding. And we will see places where water flowed, okay? We will see new growth. Places where mountains fell, we will see new land. The challenge is for us to stand unafraid, affected but unafraid, as she explodes, to know that that is what is going on, and then to take a good look at where we stand when the waters settle, when the earth solidifies again. It is very, very interesting to me that just last night I was having a conversation with Susan, Susan and I have been friends since dust first settled, right? And whenever I say that, she says, Teish, the dust hasn't settled yet. It's still, it's still settling. But she and I were talking about hope and discussing having new hope in this new administration's ability to that we have lived under, you know, to undo all of those negative things that have led to so much death. It is very difficult to think this way right now, but we must think of those who have crossed as spirits who have entered another dimension where they will help us from that place. And we must think of their bodies as compost to feed the earth's renewal. It is very, very difficult to think that way when a relative of yours has died by COVID and we are denied the ability to do our burial rites, which is so important to us. But the message that is coming through now is that their bodies will become compost for future planting, and that their spirits freed from those bodies will assist us after a period of rest. So a lot of us are going to be performing rituals to compensate for those that we couldn't in person. And so what does this mean for somebody on a day-to-day basis? What does this mean for the person who is saying, how do I keep myself on point every day? Okay. First, if you can imagine and accept that all of these ecological disasters are not disaster. Disaster means to be out of alignment with the star. Disaster. It's not disaster. Okay, it is not disaster. If you can accept that there is compost through which something new will grow, and if you can accept that you have a positive role in all of this, all you need to do is look outside, open your arms to the heavens, receive that energy, lower the palms of your hands down to the earth, receive that energy, and then bring that energy into your heart. If you can do that on a daily basis, you will be guided into your role in this reconstruction. Thank you for your time and your attention.
Thank you, Grandmother Luisah. And you know, what I do know too during this time is the great dance of the divine masculine and feminine and the child. It's the dance of the three that are moving us forward. And so I want to open up this next part of our prayer today with Uncle there in Greenland, in the cold country of Greenland, and say, welcome, Uncle. Please inspire us and open us to ourselves.
Oho, Oyanak, Anna Jyoti, Anak Pasusamani Tut, Ilisilut Hornatusi. Holy grandmothers, you are such a blessing into my world. I thank you all and all those who came to listen. I have been asked so many times from actually all over the world, why is there so much racism going on these days? So I told many that racism has never died. It's always been there. It's just that now we're talking about it more openly. It's so interesting. That's my drum. The old people say that every time I talk to him, the man who made us, and that's how we call him in my language, is Pingochichiso. Every time I talk to him, he will always speak back. So we will ask grandmother, Anakasan, our grandmother, our father's mother, what does that mean that he will speak back? And she would do this every time you talk to him, the man who made us. He will always speak back. That's how we knew that every time we say a prayer to the Great One, that he will speak back. The funny part of it is, though, it's always so different from what I pray, the answers I get. Then I realize it is the weekend now, so he's busy. So he doesn't have time to give me his answers. Because I have literally asked him, why is there now so much more racism than before, as people ask me? No, it has always been there. And it is a teaching I really would love that every one of us who can comprehend it can realize. The old people say that in the East, when the sun rises and she leaves the contour of the earth, she will become yellow. And now, because of the system we have realized there are actually yellow people on this earth. And I found it so incredibly beautiful because I have personally been there in several other lands. And I know many people where I've been traveling, people of the yellow race. They are so beautiful. And then the old people say that in the South, when sunshine highest upon us, she's always white. Now we have actually learned in reality that it is true that there are white people on this earth. And I have met many of them. And they're really beautiful people. Then in the West, when the sun sets, she's always red. And I have been visiting more than 400 tribes on the continent of North America, Pan America, Caribbean, and South America, the land of the red people. And they are really so incredibly beautiful. And I am one of them. Then at night, it's always black. Now we have learned in reality there are black people on this earth. Isn't that amazing? Don't you find it amazing that we have yellow people, the white people, the red people, and the black people? And they're all so incredibly beautiful. I've been to the land. I was hosted by 1,500 Black African farmers gathering in Johannesburg. You should have been there. The beauty was so enormous. I look like a white snow amongst those beautiful people. But in reality, I am red, because I am a red man. Our grandmother says, when she looked at us in summertime, you are as red as the setting of the sun. And we will look at each other and realize, wow, everybody looks like the setting of the sun. That's who we are in North America, in Pan America, in the Caribbean and South America, and the black people, and the white people, and the yellow people. When will we begin to look at the beauty of each other rather than the differences of one another? The old people say, when you and I, we grow and become adults, then we will understand each other's beauty and accept one another. So when my great aunt at Joshua and my uncle, this younger brother, were living, I will ask them, when will I become an adult? And my grandmother and my great aunt would say, when you become 70. Now I'm more than 70, and I'm still wondering, am I an adult now? And I tell myself, yes, I have become adult, because I have accepted yellow people, the white people, the red people, and the black people as equals. We are all equals. Those who cannot see themselves the way they are the one who causes the problems. And we see that these days because of the pandemic, my yellow family being put down. I witness it myself. Just because somebody comes from the Far East and they're yellow people, they were haunting them, just haunting them. And I had to come in between. My prayer tonight is that you and I, we will begin to see each other's beauty rather than the differences, because you are all so incredibly beautiful. Oh,
Thank you, Uncle. Into this very sacred space, Shawna Bluestar Newcomb, who's Shawnee and Lenape peoples on this turtle island. And she brings with her a reverence code that she's activating in all those that will sit and listen with her. So Shawna, would you tell us what your message is today?
Thank you, Grandmother Jyoti. With all of the elders and just listening to all the messages today. I just feel very honored and blessed to listen and also be here to share some guidance. I as well just appreciate hearing all of the grandmothers and uncle. And I feel like we have this thread, this connection of the things that the path that we've been walking, which may resonate with many of you that are listening as well. I do want to just say a little short prayer. Kuhana Gishilimi Wanishi. Okwa will take Kuanamilian Wanishi. Just sending blessings to all of you knowing that this is a time where there's been a lot of fear and chaos and confusion spinning. And as we've heard in many of our grandmother's messages and uncle's message, this time can also be a time of what I call reframing. My father and I speak a lot about the domination code and really examining those imbalances and the disharmony that has been perpetuated for thousands of years. And so it's a time of great awakening and evolution. And really, I see it as a time, an invitation to bring us back into our hearts, to invite compassion and witnessing and that celebration of the differences, as Uncle was mentioning and talking about. And then also just opening to the different messages, knowing that this is a spiritual time and really opening to receiving, understanding that ancestors are walking and guiding us at this time. And all we need to do is call to them and ask for that guidance in prayer, in honoring, as grandmother Loretta spoke about, making offerings. How can we honor the earth and honor our ancestors and our loved ones that have passed? All of these energies are here supporting us. And so how can we also open our hearts and our minds in a co-visioning? That's what I think is exciting. Like, how can we reframe this time that it's not the end of the world, but it is necessary, maybe the end of the world as we know it. I think that's kind of like the next part that I'd like to invite that in, to say there's a co-visioning and like the creative process that you and I and everyone here in the circle and out in the world, we all get to take part in what we want to vision for the world. And perhaps that the normal that has been hasn't necessarily been working in the best way. It hasn't been serving us in our highest good, and certainly not for the planet itself. And so this is the invitation that we get to be in this evolutionary process. And maybe that's why we all came here at this time, because it is an exciting time. Not to get lost in the fear and the chaos and the confusion that's spinning out there, but being more intentional about how we choose to live our lives and interact with each other and one another. And as Grandmother Jyoti mentioned, I do receive a lot of messages, and I have a lot of them to share about these times and the prophecies kind of connected to that. But I did just want to say mainly that I see this time is bringing us to our spiritual evolution. And it is, some people say, moving from the 3D to the 5D, allowing us to bring about this new dawn, as the grandmothers have talked about as well, and really seeing the opportunity rather than living in a place of fear and worry. And I feel like the ancestors are with us, like guiding us. I received a message, it was more like on the rain. So I feel like that's always there if we're quiet and if we're listening and we're in touch and we're just in tune with nature, just taking a walk in nature, if that's available to you, if you're able to do that. I think these are simple processes and ways that we can connect in a good way, and allowing us to come into our hearts and in a really good, deep, prayerful way that brings us into a different kind of unity with the all that is, with the cosmos, with our hearts, with spirit. Paying attention to your dreams and writing them down. I feel like that allows us to open up to our intuition. And in this time of really walking in what feels like an unknown darkness, there's a connection to light that is there. It's simply about having faith and an awareness that there is support guiding you. There is guidance there for you, and offering gratitude for the small shifts that we're seeing. It is a little bit hard to see those shifts right now, but they're happening. And there's great celebrations. Even during these times of chaos, it's beautiful to see people coming together and showing up for each other. The celebration of the differences that each and every person all across the planet, we all have this deep spiritual connection with what I'm talking about with the reverence code, and the original spirituality of the planet. That no matter what continent our ancestors have come from, that original place is that place of heart, and following a lot of the ancestral teachings of the sacred messages and gifts that our original nations have shared. And I just want to end really quickly here with a little bit of a message from ancestors that came, but it just says, "We are so pleased to see you are walking in this good way, following that spiritual path and bringing back old ceremonies. This is needed and important at this time. There are those that walk in fear and do not understand the power and beauty of this good connection. For when it is done in a good and sacred way, all will be well. A great healing and honoring can take place." And it's just about honoring the ancestors and the ways of the people, and the original ways, and the sacred prayers, and the connection to the land. And all that has been lost can now be found again in these sacred old ways. And just knowing that your heart is in a good place, purifying yourself in your space, asking for guidance from the ancestors, connecting to your dreams, all of these very simple yet meaningful practices can be incorporated. And just knowing that you're always guided, and there's always spiritual connection there leading you. So Wanishi, many blessings and prayers out to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shawna. I wish we had longer so we could sit and listen to more messages, not only from you, but all the others that are gathered here with us today. You know, I'm as each of you present something, you present something that we can walk away with today, with our basket full of some of the seeds of inspiration that the great ones have brought to you directly from these beautiful elders. And I'm including you a little bit in that, Shawna. Sometimes people walk with a wisdom early on, so thank you. And that brings us to Australia, to Jarmbi, the original custodian there. So Jarmbi, what are you going to bring from that place where light first touches before it moves across this beautiful Mother Earth?
Yeah, one of the original custodians. There's many of us. Yeah, today I feel very much the same thing. Same thing needs to be understood. We definitely need to keep putting the message out there. The importance of understanding what it is to be human, the human spirit. How important it is to be connected to the earth, especially when she's shifting, especially when she's moving. Understanding how we got disconnected, and making sure that we are making up for that and not going to make the same mistakes again. Spend a bit of my time at protest rallies for different things, different situations, and guiding groups. And it's usually the same things that we need to worry about. I think once we take care of the fact that the basics, we take care of the basic principle of grounding, we take care of the basic principle of connecting to our higher self or our creator, and we take care of the basic principle of connecting to our ancestry, everything else kind of falls into place as long as we can respect those things. So it's not we're very simple creatures. We're not rocket science. It's you push one button, we turn one way, you push another button, we turn the other way. It's not that difficult. But we have to realize that we are susceptible to external influences, and if we're not very aware of and respectful of our own being, then we're easily shifted, easily manipulated. And that can come through a lot of different ways, and usually the first way is to unground people, which means moving them physically, but it also means scaring them, being in fear. Now, there's a lot of ways that the fear has been created and put into society. Some ways through heavy trauma, sexual trauma, through through murder, through death, through fear of not being safe on this planet. And that's a very broad way that's been used through war and conquest, and it continues through business and government these days. Keep them in fear, and they're controllable. So what I want to stress today is those three basic principles. Firstly, connect to the earth, feel the heart of the mother. Go all the way down through your body, spiritually, all the way down to the heart, all the way to the core. Let yourself feel her love. Feel that part of gravity that is the love of the earth, that is her holding you tight here on this planet. And let yourself feel it in your heart. Let yourself feel it in your body, all through your body, but let yourself feel it in your mind. That will help you to rest your ego. That will help you to rest that part of your brain that is in overdrive most of the time in society, that judges everything outside of yourself, looks at it as good or bad, looks at it as friend or foe. That will help bring that into a restful place, and then you can drop into your heart and start to feel things for what they are. Let the world tell you what it is. Let yourself see the beauty. And then connecting to your higher self means dealing with your trauma stories. So that's hard work sometimes, but it's energy in, energy out. Yeah. That energy came into your life, you have to shift it. You got to work through it, get the wisdom out of it, see it clearly for the lesson that it's teaching you, and let it keep going. Hand it on as a lesson learned. The more you deal with your trauma stories, the closer you get a cleaner connection to your higher self. So to be able to breathe fresh energy into those places, into the earth, and every day realizing your connection to the earth, every day fresh energy into your connection to your higher self, where your wisdom is, where the truth of your life is, where your creator is, and letting that energy come flowing in into your mind, into your body, and letting yourself feel your sense of purpose. You have a right to be here on this earth. Don't forget it. Look after it. Stand up for it. Don't let anyone screw with it. And then being able to feel your ancestry, the ones who have put their bloodline forward for you to be here, the ones that have given your bloodlines, your DNA codes to be standing here right now in this time. Let yourself feel them, feel their direction. Let them know that you're open to their guidance. Yeah, realizing you are the next step in your ancestry. Yeah, you put here in this time to take the next step, to heal your bloodlines and reconnect. That's what this time is. The more and more we understand those principles, the more and more we are actively connecting to the earth, to our higher self and creator, and to our ancestry as we go through these motions. In this time, as the earth shifts and changes, we will keep aligning with her. The more and more she's feeling us doing these things, the more and more she feels loved. She's getting what she needs out of us, and we'll get what we need out of her. That's why they call it reciprocity. So I'm just going to play a quick little tune. Hopefully it comes out all right. But I'd like, if you can, just think of those three principles. Let your mind go to the heart of the earth, feel it with your soul, and let that energy come up. And then let your mind go to your higher self, all the way up, feeling it there in the collective consciousness. your connection to your creator, and letting that energy come down to your heart as well. And then feeling your ancestry on your shoulders. Let yourself feel it as your ancestor, way back. Just still understands the old principles and the old ways of being. Let yourself feel that ancestor. Man or the woman, let yourself feel their presence. I hope that helped.
Thank you, Jarmbi. Thank you for your good teachings and for the sound that helped to ground those teachings inside of us. So, our next elder is Mama Manuel, the Kogi of Colombia. And he created a little video that he wanted to share because he has a hard time getting where there's wireless. And in this video, he has literally brought you into his home. And he's offering himself in that way, that family way with you. And I'm going to ask, because he's going to speak in his own language, and the video is about 5 minutes long. So this is a moment where if you'll still yourself and allow that language to flow over, it's his own original language. And as my understanding with all the original languages, they open up codes in us if we will receive them deeply and listen deeply and let them touch us deeply. When he finishes his presentation, then he sent I've got an English translation that I will give to you. So no worry, you will get some of the words in another way also. But for the moment, let's open up to Mama Manuel and this sacredness that he is going to flow into all of our homes from his. Mama Manuel.
Yeah. Kasakaki.
Kasaka umut. Galeni kagi abuchi. Galeni kagi atsushi. Kagi atsushi ki mai. Kaika hai kakbakse kakajimuna himuna. Gakwe muna. Hai cheno gakwazuha. Como atsataja wa mitobonyaja wa nukaja wa nukatoka haya bakadripa bucheke ekinangna como 50 metros en kagi kuya hai kagi abaksuna jirlabirsha guasunze hina heka kaksurze heka zabizenka Kima kama kasaka de iversasunze galenine iversasunze galenine iversasunze galenine iversasunze kagi abaksuki hay namang znatong gudza namang stot gonene hen shwalama kahgahuja gocheke heka kaksurze zalla alqala haybe hay zalla hanye abaksuni ganki como 1 metro zanka aga hen uchaka hekiki ubanga ahi hateha ahi haba hanyaga eki gudzuha akwagde na dagade ne heki nang na nasmi henji henyi kagabaji je kaluka kagi ay toy ay como 100 metros kwen kalde 200 metros kwen kalde ni 5 metros hega kwen kalde higweka haya bakalak zalla ne eka sugzine ne eka leha shangu shingwakwa wachiga eka sugzine ne hay abakalak ne ha ibaksha wachiga toeka sugzi za amak zukwingwakwa wachiga gakwe negaksa kazi negaksa ikigwa kwenangna enki ikigwa sunze wana henyi jaji haznaka ikika koda jaji akeda godini makina yate huizen kazala akuha madaizen ka como 50 metros zen kazala kagia akuha hai abakala iche uchiga nadagal achangwa sunzama kaiga ma gula hai gula hiba machiga mijukane henyi ganki he kasangwa enki como médico hana ikichakana hajir mi vengo que hega gula mite wana ne hega gula kasanya ganki zupanka sangada henyi ganki gai ma bigen ka taimite he muleto agu ko gajazira nasun akinangna kallan ko kasa zunte nulu zunte hai zunte muleto tulasha kwa zira uwa yega zunte ikizingte na magwe hana he hate neji ha hate sejan kwa ha ikina de zira gwango nene gula hai gula habengwa gula henyi rangi habengwa henyi ite gwa sunze henyi zada henyi ite gwa sunze khala henyi guga henyi heka ishbungwa gwa sunze wanene kaiga doe maintai adanya ga khala henyi ibengwa hade ke hai gula ibungwa chibaga tsega kash hekiki anchiga baga tsega jakane hen kagi ki gwapanan kalle ki ga taji a cihi ata kaiga kachiga chakga inki mitsai ga cihi je kula kwazu khanazu khanne hade ke ki hangunan wani ne hanna sai ni madezaji to ciga khama kha Santa Marta jimani liwache jimani Cartagena ji to ciga khagi ha toy hen surjizala ha mawjagbai ciga gula hen kanki khalangwa khalani kanki gulangwa fa hekima ko cheke chimir zigasunze kaiga mawaben bagone yega mudeto chimir zigasunze ekibe hana iki akuhatun iki gonu gema.
Ya. Buenas tardes.
Jyoti, you have to unmute yourself.
Thank you. I had an elder moment. That was his son Riska, who was just coming into translated again into Spanish. But we wanted to just go from his language into English, and so this is what he said. Good afternoon, good day from here in Colombia, and maybe good afternoon in some other countries. Mama Manuel here has told us, given us counseling on how to take care of the earth, because it's important for all life in humanity. And so he tells us here that the earth has 9 layers, 9 different layers. And here we as indigenous communities, we understand this to be 9 women. For us, this is what it means. When the earth is mother, it is 9 women. 9 is mother, and so each one of these layers has a significance, a meaning. What are they for? Where we are settled and where we are planting fruit trees, among other things, is a part of the black layer of the earth, and then deeper down, there's another layer. And so Mama Manuel tells us that we should not, humanity should not dig out more than 10 meters down, not even 100. Only 30 centimeters is already good for planting on the earth. That does not cause any problems, but from 40 centimeters to 50 centimeters, another layer begins. And so this layer should not be dug up and put over the first one, because then we are already mistreating her, and this should not be done. And so this is how the mamos work. And that is why here in our communities, in our territories, we are doing things the way we were told. There exist many peoples, many different ethnicities, like the little brothers. They often dig and make big holes and very deep, and they bring up the earth from those depths and they put it over the first layers, and so it gets mixed up. And so that is as if I would take a human being and cut his skin and change it for another one, put another skin on him or her. Also, for example, if we would cut the arms and put the arms of an animal there instead, that would not be good. It's not his or hers real body anymore, and so it gets mixed up into different bodies. And so this is like that. And that is why we shouldn't make any harm to Mother Earth. We can't dig her up and don't move her from place to place. And that is why today we are here. The younger brothers are making harm, digging for mines. There are many mines for exploitation. They are digging for oil. This is as if we were getting the life out of her, the blood of our mother, her intestines, among other things. It's like we're already selling our mother. And with her dying, who is going to take care of us? And that is why we shouldn't dig the earth more than 10 meters deep. We have to respect this and be careful of her, because that is how she can be careful of us. Here in our community, we have a council, a director board that takes care of the ways we should use to take care of the earth. How to take care of her and how we should do it. And in this way, you can see it here. We are organizing around this issue here in our communities. And so that is why we barely have any maladies, barely any health issues. So that is what Mama Manuel is saying. And so we should not dig out any of the earth layers more than 10 meters depth. We should respect her. This is what Mama Manuel is saying here. And if you don't know and don't believe that the earth is alive, the answer is that obviously she is alive. She is like a human being. She is our mother, and we should respect her, because long time before this time, she was mother. And so it is that we should respect her. And that is what Mama Manuel is saying. He thanks you all. So just want to take that message really deeply inside and see how in my moment, in this place, on this Mother Earth, that I can be more mindful that I'm walking with a living being. She is the mother of us all. And with that, I get to introduce Jingki. a star being for sure. She comes from the Wanganu in Australia. So Jingki, I know you have a song that's going to lighten our heart and open that knowledge inside of us.
Mabu grandmother Jyoti, Mabu Bora, Mabu Dukopa, Great Spirit Creator, Mabu Yalburu, friends, mate, family. This song was inspired by all of you. And as we continue to expand and shine and always be in high frequency of our beautiful song. Baniwal, Guwal, Wadiwalij. For the star is you and the star is me. We're all bright shining stars. We are the sun, we are the moon, one big universe. We're the oldest star in our universe, in our galaxy. We're all the stars on earth, ancient seers, 1 million of us. This is all I am, oh, this is me. This is all I know, so won't you let it be? Oh, come on, let love be. Come on, let love be. Oh, we believe it when we see it, and when we see it, oh, we believe it, 'cause we feel it, and we know it deep down inside. Free energy, breathe in and out, release, even turn. Come through the blue and sing your sweet song. With this, be cool, be calm. Feel the joy of your heart. Be love, be light. Be grace, and let love be. With this, by this here, on the ground, be the sound of your song. Light up your day, paint a landscape in her beauty, dance it into being, for we're walking with the footsteps footsteps of our ancestors. Live dreaming, dream time, dream time. We're the oldest star in our universe, in our galaxy. We're all the stars on earth, ancient healers, ancient singers. Oh, big old ancient tree. Mabu mabu, new word. This breath I am, new word. Mabu mabu.
Thank you, Jingki. I would love it sometime if we could just present something where each of you could have a whole lot more time to present some of the gifts you bring to that are like sweet aroma to us during these times. So thank you, Jingki. So that's going to bring us to Kurikindi, who's going to be offering the final prayer for us today. And he's a Kichua, and he's there in Ecuador. So thank you, Kurikindi, for coming to help us hold a strong prayer today and to close things around this prayer so it can stay sealed and strong as people walk away today. Kurikindi.
Ama Yulia, ama Kika, ama Shua. Estoy tan feliz como la delegación está trabajando con todo su corazón para dar la información al resto de la humanidad. He estado este tiempo en la Amazonía, he estado conectándome con los 4 elementos y también con la luz divina. En estos momentos donde la humanidad está pasando por una circunstancia delicada, que es el COVID, el miedo, la desesperación, la ansiedad. Pero nosotros en la Amazonía tenemos una vida simple de conectarnos con la naturaleza, de conectarnos con los elementos y de tener esa paz interior para poder día a día practicar esa conexión. Doy gracias al Creador, doy gracias al Divino Padre, a la Divina Madre. Doy gracias a Pachamama, donde nosotros podemos caminar, donde nosotros podemos construir, donde nosotros podemos sembrar para comer. En medio de toda esta desesperación, es muy importante que tengamos una paz interior, que nuestra mente, cuerpo y espíritu esté lleno de luz para poder tener una tranquilidad, para poder tener una claridad. Mi invitación hoy día es para todas las personas que me están escuchando. Es posible hay personas que están sufriendo. Es posible hay personas que están enfermos. Es posible que hay personas que están desesperados. Mi mensaje de hoy día para todos es tiempo de que comencemos a caminar con nuestro corazón, con ese amor de nuestro corazón, con la sensibilidad de nuestro corazón. Y más que nada, yo le pido a cada uno de ustedes que tu fe sea sólida, Que la fe que llevemos sea bien sólida, esté lleno de amor. He estado pensando cuál es el mensaje que puedo decir. Durante todo este tiempo me ha venido, es tiempo de que nuestra fe sea sólida. Es tiempo de que nosotros aprendamos a caminar con el corazón. Como seres humanos no estamos perfectos. Pero no quiere decir que podemos construir ese amor en nuestro corazón, construir ese amor en nuestro espíritu y dar gracias al Creador, dar gracias a Pachamama, dar gracias al Padre Sol, dar gracias a la Madre Agua, dar gracias al Padre Aire. Por algunos días he estado caminando pensando en esto, pensando en qué está pasando con la humanidad, pensando cómo las fuerzas negativas están tratando de destruir a la humanidad, destruir a Pachamama donde vivimos nosotros. Mi oración de hoy día es para todos los hombres y las mujeres, y en especial para la nueva generación. Quiero decir a todos ustedes que los amo con este corazón de la Amazonía, con este corazón simple que he aprendido a caminar desde muy niño en la vida simple de la armonía, del suma causa, saboreando y sintiendo esa paz, respirando el aire no contaminado. Hoy en día hasta los rincones de la Amazonía el aire está contaminándose. Con todo corazón les quiero decir, tengan una fe sólida y aprendan a caminar con el corazón. Hatun apu hawa pachaitia, kai pachata hawa pachata seriku. Ashkata mi kanda pagrachuni hatun apu. Tukuy ñuka yuyaywa, tukuy ñuka shunguwa. Hatun apu kanda mi kirini. Kanda mi maskani karam punja. Kan mi ñukanchi yaya kangi. Kan mi ñukanchi indi kangi. Chasallata mi kanda mañani. Hatun mama. Ñukanchita oyay hatun mama. Ñukanchita kishpichi hatun mama. Ñukanchi suman ñambita suman yuyaywa. Kay ñambita katingawa. Ashkata mi kanda pagrachuni Pachamama kambalpaymi wasisha tarpusha kawsanchi. Ashka pagrachu indiyaya karam punja mi kamba punjata rikusha kawsanchi. Ashka pagrachu yaku mama. Tukuy kaybi kawsaguna mi kamba yaku tupisha kawsanchi. Ashka pagrachu wayra yaya kamba sumak samaita ñukanchita samachi. Pachamama kausai shabungami hayay 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 suma kausai shamungami ay 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 Hatung apu kau say shamungami. Ay 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 hay hay ay 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 hay ay 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 hay. Nyuka kausaita, runa guna kausaita, wawa guna kausaita, kamba maki churani hatumapu. Kamba maki nyukanchita pasha puri, nyukanchi suma yuyaywa, suma shunguwa katingawa. Ashkata mi pagrachuni hatumapu, ashkata mi pagrachuni, tukuy runa gunata, nyukata uya gunata. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Kurikindi. And I don't want to use any more words. I want to offer a video that my daughter, spiritual daughter, Bethany Yoro, caught as an honoring to the mother element of water. For she is working with us so strongly right now to help us through these times, to cool us and to bathe us and to anoint us and to cleanse us and to nourish us. So this song is an offering to the Queen of the Sea, to Yamanjai. Let her wash over you. Yamanjai, oh my mama, Yamanjai, Yamanjai. Mama, look down upon your children here on earth and come to help us now. Mama, look down upon your children here on earth and come to help us now. Mama, look down upon your children here on earth and come to help us now. I could listen that for a whole lot longer, so I hope it washed over you, as did all the beautiful teachings that were brought to you today by our beautiful elders here and our Mother Earth delegation. I know there was a question that got asked during the process, like, what does the prophecy say will happen before 2026, and what about after? So I think that we've touched on the cleansing that we're in, and what I would also say is, what the mother says to me is, stay in the present moment. Don't let your mind run ahead to see where we're going, because you might get scared. And don't let your mind look back, because you might have regret and you bring that into the present moment. Just embrace the present moment with your full presence, trusting that the mother is going to bring you everything you need in that moment. Sometimes it's wonder, sometimes it's challenge, sometimes it's joy, sometimes it's fear, but we must embrace what's in the present moment. Hold it, integrate it, learn from it. She will bring the next moment. And that is how we walk through these times. And that choice will determine what our future looks like, because we're all crafting it with her right now by our choosing. And these beautiful delegates have found their way to sit around this fire and by the water this time, bringing their good teaching. So I thank you, one and all, each and every delegate that comes to the circle on the third Saturday of every month. And so the next time we're going to be is going to be March the 20th. And I want to thank also the Mother Earth delegation of United Original Nations and all that they're holding, because they have themselves in just working circles now and are doing the guidance of the Mother is directing our steps, and she has us working to bring around good solution for these times. I also want to give thanks to the Global Days of Unity, who we are in partnership with, that spreads this message far and wide, as do many other platforms that have gathered together to hold a synchronized moment of peace and prayer and harmony. And everyone that's gathered here is a part of that prayer that is walking. I want to give thanks to all the staff behind the scenes that helped this kind of moment with our sacred technology of the internet come together to meet the sacred technology of the earth, so that good things could pour from it. And I want to give great thanks for every single one of you for showing up the way that you do, for walking with mindfulness and cultivating your awareness. Thank you for being here, and we look forward to seeing you next month, or maybe in your dreams. Watch your visions, watch your inspiration, watch the way creation herself is talking to you. Listen deeply. Listen deeply. Have a beautiful, blessed day. We send our love. Bye-bye.